Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and let's talk about Disney again, because that topic never gets old. But in conjunction with talking about Disney, we get to talk about something that I'm very passionate about, Toy Story. And I said this in a previous video, so maybe you've heard it, maybe you haven't if you haven't seen it, but my favorite Disney movie of all time is Toy Story. And yes, I know, technically it's Pixar, but at the end of the day, everyone knows it is a Disney movie. Toy Story is a Disney movie. I love Toy Story so much that according to my aunt and my granny, my first word was Woody. Do I know if that's true or not? No, I don't. But yeah, I love Toy Story. I love Tim Allen. I love Buzz. I love Woody. It's such a great classic movie. And Lightyear, garbage. Awful. Don't watch it. It's a travesty. They didn't bring back Tim Allen. It's done. A lot of people felt the same way because it lost money, as it should have. But I might not be the only one, along with millions of other people, who refused to watch this movie, or if they did watch it, didn't like it, because it seems like original Toy Story director reportedly very critical of Lightyear's spinoff. By the way, does anybody remember we had a Lightyear spinoff? It was called Buzz Lightyear Star Command, and it was freaking awesome. So yeah, we didn't need this, but anyway. Original Toy Story director John Lasseter is reportedly very critical of this year's Lightyear spinoff movie, as well as another major Disney flop. Well, John Lasseter was the king of Pixar. Name a Pixar film that you consider a classic, he was involved in it. Heavily. He never missed. I mean, can you think of anyone else in showbiz that just never missed? Batted 1,000? I guess maybe if he was involved in like Planes or Cars 2 or 3. Alright, maybe he missed a little bit. Point is, John Lasseter's the GOAT. Let's read through this. Following its memorable box office bombing, a new report indicates the original Toy Story director, John Lasseter, is very critical of the Lightyear spin-off movie. Released in theaters this past June, the film explored the origin story of the figure that would go on to inspire Tim Allen's beloved toy, with Chris Evans recast as Buzz as he finds himself stranded in the future after trying to save his fellow Star Command officers from the alien planets they're stranded on. Co-written and directed by Angus MacLane, Lightyear debuted to generally positive reviews from critics and audiences alike. What? No, it didn't. Audiences hated this. Hold on a sec. Okay, fair's fair. Maybe audiences liked it more than I thought. In fact, it seems they liked it more than the critics did. But even so, no. People didn't like this. I'm going to stick with what I'm saying. Watch any reputable movie reviewer, they didn't like it. Anyone that has a sense of what good writing is and is not just throwing this on for their kids, they didn't like it. Toy Story and Buzz Lightyear fans didn't like it. Aside from being a bad Toy Story spinoff, it just wasn't that good of a movie. It really wasn't. Though this wouldn't translate to box office receipts, as it only grossed just over $226 million against its $200 million production budget. And frankly, that means it lost money if the old adage is to be true that you double your cost for marketing. So it had a $200 million budget, but it actually took $400 million to bring to light because, $200 million for marketing. And that means if it made $226 million, it actually lost half the money, landing it the label of a box office bomb. A receipt posting from Matthew Baloney's Puck newsletter reflected on the recent changes occurring in Hollywood's animation field, including former Pixar CEO John Lasseter, now leading the charge for Skydance Animation. The report also stated that two people who have spoken with the original Toy Story director says he was extremely critical of both Lightyear and Strange World, Disney's two major box office flops of 2022. Yeah, Strange World. That one I can believe didn't get a marketing budget, because they didn't market that at all. Lasseter is said to hold extra contempt for the latter's project failing after having created and nurtured the eponymous Space Ranger for 25 years, having helmed the first two installments of the Toy Story franchise, and developing the story with fellow Pixar vets Peter Docter and Andrew Stanton and Joe Ranft. Lightyear bombing at the box office proved to be a major surprise to many for a number of reasons. First and foremost being its larger franchise ties, with both Toy Story 3 and 4 clearing the $1 billion mark. Additionally, with the spin-off being Pixar's first solely theatrical release after Disney elected for Disney Plus premieres for Soul, Luca, and Turning Red during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, it was expected families would turn out to support the film. And they didn't, because no one asked for this, no one wanted this, and they used the excuse, oh, it's because of the pandemic. No, that's not why. Movies have been making money post-pandemic. Top Gun Maverick made money post-pandemic. The Batman made money post-pandemic. People were going to the movies. People just weren't going to this because it was crap. This bombing led some to believe audiences weren't ready to return to theaters for family-friendly Yep, exactly. Only for Minions: The Rise of Gru's record-breaking $939 million box office haul. Exactly, that's another one. That busted the banks. People turned out for that. The highest for all animated films of 2022 to prove this not to be the case. Yep. So maybe just stick to your source material, give people what they want. Don't recast beloved characters with woke Hollywood ideologues that nobody cares about. Maybe you'd have had people turn out. I guarantee you that half the reason that people didn't show up was because of the Tim Allen recasting. And they tried to say, oh, but Tim Allen plays the toy. This is the character the toy is based off. First of all, it's a kid's movie. Most kids aren't going to care about that. Second, for the fans of the franchise, we want to see Tim Allen. We want to see who we grew up with. We want to see the actor portray. He could have done a more serious version of Buzz. Or, remember, we had Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. That was a straight-to-video movie. Tim Allen played Buzz in that. Now, in the follow-up series, it was Patrick Warburton doing a Tim Allen impression. Which actually pretty good. I enjoyed Warburton's version of Buzz quite a bit. So recasting isn't even necessarily out of the question. I would think for a movie like this, it is though. This is a big budget franchise film. You don't recast for that. Recasting for TV, for a cartoon, yeah, that's fine. But not for something like this. You would have not had these budget issues were Tim Allen in the movie, or at least not near as bad as them. I'd be willing to bet my soul on it. One of the biggest factors blamed for Lightyear's bombing was the decision to recast Alan with Chris Evans. It's like I'm psychic. A move met with major division from Toy Story fans, who largely didn't accept the explanation of it stemming from its technically being a different character. Another major element factoring into the film's failure at the box office was competition from Jurassic World Dominion, which just narrowly broke the $1 billion mark, and Top Gun Maverick, which would become the biggest surprise hit of the year as Tom Cruise's best reviewed and highest grossing film of the year. Okay, no. People weren't going as families to see Top Gun Maverick and Jurassic World Dominion. People weren't taking their kids to those. It's not really competition when they're two completely separate genres. That would be like saying, oh man, Weezer and Britney Spears are both in town on the same night, and no one showed up to the Weezer show, but Britney Spears made a bunch of money at her concert. Oh, well, no, Weezer didn't make money because everyone went to see Britney Spears. No, these are two completely different audiences. It doesn't matter if they have shows on the same night. Different people were going to be going and seeing Weezer than were going to see Britney Spears. People just didn't show up to Weezer. Maybe they don't care anymore. Maybe they don't like them. Maybe they realize Weezer sucks. Take your pick. Point is, that was not the reasoning. Even upon its Disney Plus premiere, Lightyear was only modestly successful in its viewership numbers, falling short of the Oscar-winning Encanto, which, while I have major criticisms with, all in all, pretty good movie. I think the music in it is very overrated. I think Lin-Manuel Miranda knows how to write catchy hooks, but not whole songs. But that's neither here nor there. Which has set multiple records since it began streaming on the platform. Much like Lightyear, Disney's Strange World proved to be a shocker for the House of Mouse on multiple accounts. No, it wasn't a shocker. They knew this would flop. That's why they sandwiched it between Black Panther and Avatar, movies that Disney knew would make a bunch of money, or at least hoped would make a bunch of money. Black Panther really didn't, but we've touched on that before. So, yeah, they didn't care about Strange World, and it was not a shocker for House of Mouse. There's a reason it was not marketed. They were just throwing that out there. I'm surprised they didn't throw it in January of this upcoming year, of 2023, where movies go to die anyway. Grossing just $66.5 million against its reported $180 million production budget, with some analysts expected the film to lose the studio around $147 million. The film also broke Disney's 30-year streak of scoring an A- or higher from audiences on CinemaScore, scoring just a B, which is still too high from everything I've heard, but I can't claim to know, I haven't seen it, which was said to have factored into its box office failing alongside the lack of the same marketing push as major other Disney releases. Yeah, exactly, it had no marketing. The only marketing I saw for this movie were people on YouTube talking about how there was no marketing for this movie. While there have been no talks of another Toy Story film in the near future, it seems likely that Lightyear's failings will put a stop to any other installments in the franchise for some time. Well, I can see and can't see that. maybe no more spin-offs like Lightyear, maybe sticking to Toy Story. I don't think the two are really connected. That would be like saying, oh, Fantastic Beast failed, so no more Harry Potter movies. But that's clearly not accurate since Warner Brothers, is rumored already be working on Harry Potter reboots. Spin-offs aren't quite the same as mainline entries, and they're not treated the same either. So, all in all, this was a nice read. It's nice to know that John Lasseter is critical of this movie. I wish it would have gone into more detail how, but obviously it's probably in bad taste for him to come out and say all these negative things, especially after he's left the company, is working on his own studio. He doesn't want the bad press of trashing Disney. I don't think Don Bluth even really... I could be wrong. I was very young, but I don't even remember accounts of Don Bluth trashing Disney after he left. He just set out to be a better company than Disney, and in some respects really was. And I'm hoping the same for Lasseter and his new production company. So, short, sweet, I'm glad the movie failed. I hope more Disney projects fail, because I want Disney to course correct and stop, being modern Disney, and I hope you guys do too. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. You can agree with me, disagree with me. I'll appreciate the comment either way. Or you can tell me to my face, well, not really my face, but you know what I mean, on Twitter @BoltTheWord. And please subscribe to the channel because I've been working really hard to grow it, and it'd mean the world to me. This has been Words of Paradise.